I do so many videos where I just spit philosophical wisdoms on a rant. So I wanted to do something a little bit more structured. And what I was thinking about is, my whole platform is mind, body, spirit, old school shit, mind, body, spirit, health, all leads to financial success and like your life kind of being good. That's like what I call the sensory world. So it's the becoming, it's those three facets of humanness that you need to master. Once self-mastery becomes a thing that you're closer and closer to, you feel so much more in alignment with where you're supposed to be, that all of the kind of sensory world stuff becomes easy. You start getting better at conversations and relationships. You get better at managing things, running businesses, making money, working longer hours, being more present to be a dad, being more focused, driven, all that shit all goes up. But it's mind, body, spirit, right? Body. What do I teach people when I talk about body? Body is, I use Ron John Chatterjee's 4 Pillars of Health because it's simple to me. It makes sense. And then I use like the basics under the exercise part, the movement part. I just use the simple, old school 6 components of fitness. It's pretty simple shit. 4 Pillars of Health by Ron John Chatterjee. Get that book if you haven't. Fucking dope. He's a great guy. Very smart. Diet, movement, relaxation, sleep. Pretty easy way to analyze your life. It's pretty easy to track those things. It's easy to track how much sleep you're getting with a schedule and when you're going to bed. It's pretty easy to look at your exercise. We'll get into the exercise part in a second. Diet, pretty easy to track your diet. If you don't understand macros, hit up somebody that understands the macros you need to be eating and kind of can write you a nutrition plan. If you guys are struggling with the diet part, most of what that is you don't know what to fucking eat. That's what it is. You guys are getting so much decision fatigue and anxiety around food that you're like, I actually don't know what to eat. If somebody just lays you out a plan, very simple to just be like, that's what I eat. I eat this on those timelines. The second part that makes that hard is the planning part. It's your guys' lives are all so fucking chaotic that you can't like actually have your meals set up, but you need to. And then relaxation, it's all the shit I talk about, decompression techniques in general. I do meditation, stillness stuff a lot for that. I also do salt baths. Also, I'm really good at planning my schedule to where I know when I'm at my breaking points, and then I put like small sections in my life where I'm like, that night I can probably take 3 hours to be by myself, kind of just journal and chill and kick it. That's what I use for normal body stuff. That's a pretty good place to start because it encompasses exercise. Now for exercise, the 6 components of fitness are cardiovascular strength, cardiovascular endurance, muscular strength, muscular endurance, range of motion, flexibility. So same thing again, with your body, you kind of use those 6 things to analyze like what you need to do next. I'll feel in times in my life like, oh man, I need to spend a lot more time doing range of motion and flexibility. I've been just lifting weights lately. I'm just doing strength training. As much as that's like probably the prime thing I'm going to focus on, I don't want my hips to get fucked up when I'm old. I don't want bum shoulders and all this stuff. My shoulder is kind of messed up right now, so I've been doing a lot of stretching, range of motion exercises, mobility stuff. So it's fairly simple, but just think about it like that, right? You got diet, movement, relaxation, sleep. Those are the components of the body. Under movement, you're going to have those 6 components of fitness I just said. So to think about that and then getting an exercise plan that makes sense with that. The diet part, tracking the macros that you need to eat for the results that you want. And then finding food that kind of like does good in your system that's in alignment with those macros. And then finding a way to eat it on a timeline and plan around it. That's diet. It's pretty simple shit. And then sleep, all I do for sleep, I just track my sleep, and also I get up at 4 a.m. and I go to bed at like a reasonable time. I'm not one of these people who's gonna sit here and lie and tell you I go to bed at fucking midnight and get up at 3. I don't do that. I get up at 4. I get up at 4 on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then on Friday and Saturday, I get up at 6. And that's normally because I have to be at the restaurant for about 10 hours, so I normally stay there pretty late. And I just want to have my bearings and shit while I'm there and be able to grind through the day. And then on Sunday, I do, and this is another one that everyone talks about. It's like, oh, no days off, it's all over the place. It's what the fuck you want to do. When I'm doing 6 days a week of fitness, I don't feel bad about taking Sundays off. Sunday is also an intentional day for me on purpose. I actually put a bookend in my week on that day, and I do feel less of a high vibe on that day because I don't do all my routines. But that's intentional for me. I actually want to feel Perspective change. Happiness is perspective change. So what I want to feel on that day is like, I want to feel how I don't live normally. I want to feel anything other than the way that I normally live the other 6 days of the week. It's the Lord's Day of rest, so that's something I take into consideration with that. I try to be fairly spiritual on that day. It is a day where I connect with my son. It's a day where we go do adventures and do fun stuff, and we plan all our things on Sundays. But that's just me. Do whatever you want. If you want to run every day, fucking run every day. Mind. What's the mind piece? Reading. Digesting positive fucking information. Positive mental attitude. Gratitude practices. Positive mental attitude means reframing your self-talk. Auto-correcting when you talk bad to yourself and when you're judgmental to others. Try to keep your mind around love instead of fear. Love instead of fear. Love instead of fear. Autocorrect. Am I being kind and loving? I should probably be talking to myself better. I should be talking about situations better. Giving myself more positive feedback. Learning ways to turn my self-talk away from negativity to positivity, even if it's the same thing. Like, I'm so tired. Man, I am so exhausted. Today's been so hard and it's been so long. Instead of focusing on that, going like, oh man, I can't wait to get home tonight. That's going to be amazing. Oh man, I'm so tired right now. I don't want to do these things. Oh, I got this. This is hard, but I'm going to kill it. I'm fucking amazing. I'm unbreakable. Simple shit. It's just flipping your speech into a positive direction where you're showing yourself self-love, because that's how your mind starts to fucking adapt. It starts to go, oh, I do love myself. Visualization, affirmation. Picture yourself winning. I know this one sounds all too kooky for a lot of you guys. Picture yourself having your dream life. I picture mine all the fucking time. And everything that I've been visualizing for the last 3-4 years of my life has come true literally on the timeline that I've like planned it to and written down. Seriously. I know that sounds crazy, but like I wrote down like a 2 to 5 year window. I was like, that's what I'm going to work on in this 2 to 5 year window, and all that shit came true. Simple as that. And I also visualized myself doing it. I just visualized myself winning. I knew that the restaurant, I called the restaurant doing $4 million when it was doing 800,000. I was like, oh yeah, probably go to like 2-ish million. I bet after that it'll be 3.5 was what I said, and ended up being 3.3. And then I was like, and I bet next year we'll do 4.4, and it ended up being like 4.1. So it was like, I visualized those things happening. I started saying like, we'll do X amount of sales a week, I bet, in X amount of time. And then that started happening like that, right? Visualization, affirmation. Affirm yourself. You're going to crush it. You're going to get all the stuff you want. You need your mind to think that way, because if you don't think that way, it will never fucking happen for you. That's the part of the law of attraction that you guys hate, I think. It's like, oh, you just like can't just make a vision board. No, you do all the shit to get there, but you need to be doing both. You need to be fucking, because you're going to get discouraged at points. And then spirit, man, and I can't fucking talk about this one enough. Spirit is like everything else. It's like everything else. It's so hard to separate mind and spirit. Your mind will try to trick you out of things that your spirit knows is the truth. That's how you can tell your spirit. Your spirit is your conscience. That's what you're being called to do. It's what you're being drawn to do. It's the things that you admire, like all the things that you're drawn to in life. Now, when I say that, you got to be careful, because you're probably drawn to some negative shit too. That your spirit is a battle of the two wolves, or angels versus devils, right? Your spirit, when it's strong and you're in touch with yourself, it will guide you towards positive things that are all good with you, that are in alignment with your best life. When you're feeling depleted and your energy is a little bit low, your spirit has a tendency to turn on you, and it will speak to your mind and get your mind to convince you to do bad things for you, that you know are bad for you, because it will give you short-term gratification rather than long-term. So for me, it's like, again, it's almost like love versus fear is the spirit part. I just kind of try and keep that in check. I do journal. That's the spirit section of my journal. It has 4 sections. The spirit section is where I kind of just free flow journal. Things I'm dealing with, emotional incongruencies, shit that's coming up a lot in my life, things that I haven't been doing the best. And really getting in touch with like what's important to me, journaling about the things that have happened that I'm grateful for, journaling experiences, just free flow journaling. Oh, me and Wyatt did this awesome thing, and then a little Polaroid picture of me and him in there doing it. It's as simple as that. So that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like to worry about mind, body, spirit. The reason I have those sections in my journal, and the reason you guys don't get, it's just intentional, right? Those things make sure I'm not skipping any of it. It's also just puts it into a way that I can digest it and see it. I can see where I'm missing. I can see what I'm skipping. I'm seeing where I'm focusing my attention, and maybe where I need to shift some of it over. If I'm just doing nothing but exercise and finance, if I'm doing exercise, diet, like body, and I'm just breaking my body down, doing exercise, and then I'm also doing this crazy amount of work in terms of like trying to push the businesses forward, trying to accomplish all those things, I'll realize at some point, I'll be like, man, I've been neglecting my spirit. Like taking a second to remember that the reason that all those things matter is only because of the purpose part. It's not to get anywhere. It's not to do anything. Like, stop trying to swim everywhere so fast. Like, slow down, appreciate the moments, realize what's important. My family and, like, the people I connect with, the people around me that I fucking give a shit about, that I love, you know, to the end of the earth. That's why I'm doing all these things. I'm just trying to become the best me. So, essentially, sometimes spirit, if I'm neglecting spirit, I'll see spirit as, like, a stray away from getting a little bit too results-driven, and going right back into that zone of like, oh yeah, this is just about being, and I already am being who I am, and like that's a good thing, so I should indulge in that and appreciate it. So that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. If you do coaching sessions with me, that's what it looks like. It's just getting on those 3 habits, analyzing them, getting a journal, tracking it, staying tight with it. And then we turn all those personal excellence pursuits into more and more self-mastery, to where you start to actually realize what your goals are in the financial world, in the sensory world, how you want to look, what you want to show up as, what car you want to drive, what job you would rather have than the one you do now, what you like your schedule to look like, what you want your partner to look like, what you want your relationship to look like, what you want your relationship with your kids to look like. And then you just use mind, body, spirit to get there. You just keep doing that, and you keep fucking staying tight on it. You keep knowing you'll pull off the pedal sometimes, you need to push it back up. So keep eyes on it. And then as you add these things in, when you add stuff into the sensory world and the financial world, the thing that gets hard is all of a sudden your schedules change, and sometimes they have a tendency to get out of loop with the mind, body, spirit piece. You'll pull back. As Jeff Warren always says, it's like forget, remember, forget, remember, forget, remember. That's the cycle of life. Straight, not straightened, is how Aurelius said that. Makes a ton of sense. You'll never be straightened out. You got to keep doing the work daily to make sure that you're in alignment with that vision. And when you're in alignment with the vision and you're walking towards it and everything's coming to you like this, the thing that's great is all of a sudden your personality and your mindfulness and your connection to life actually goes up to the highest level you've ever fucking known. So hit me up if you need anything. Hit me up if you want a vision construction or any of that shit. Just let me know. I'll fucking walk you through some shit. For free.